how to do a basic repair when you haven't got access to a decent workshop and the proper epoxy resin kit. All you need is some Araldite or similar. In Japan you get these little tubes of A and B epoxy from any hardware store, and yeah, they're much cheaper, much easier to get hold of than the marine equivalents. So also you will need, and this is what I've brought with me and make sure I have in my barrel for repairs, is some cloth, preferably carbon, but glass is also an option. So I travelled with a bit of this because this is more difficult to get, and the epoxy you can pick up anywhere. Okay, this is just a hole. I can't remember how it got done, but I just plugged it with some epoxy to stop it taking water. So I want to put a patch over this. Okay, and you can see that the same technique has been employed multiple times on this board in this big repair in multiple stages, because the Araldite goes off very quickly. So you only get a few minutes to do what you need to do, and then it's too late. So you do it in small bits if you've got a big job. But yeah, you can basically repair anything. This was gaping open, the nose was hanging off, and got it together using this basic technique. Okay, so got a hole. First of all, I'm going to sand it, and you just want to take the paint off, get down to the carbon underneath the paint, because it will, the carbon will stick much better than onto the paint. Fast forward with a bit of sanding. I've got to that. Brush off the muck, and you can wet sand it. There's another option if you don't want the dust, and you have sandpaper that is going to work in the wet. And then you want to get the dust off and all the muck and grease and clean it. And I've found useful for this are these little towels for removing makeup. There we go. Let's find the towel as well. Right there. Okay. Also handy a pair of glasses so you can see what's going on, and a head torch. Yeah, dip in anymore, that looks fine. I'm just going to mask off the bit of the board I don't want to get mucky with epoxy. Next thing I'm going to do is get a bit of carbon and cut out a shape like that. You could do a template with a bit of paper, or you could just do it by eyeball. And you want to be just a tiny bit, but hardly any bigger than the hole. That'll do me. That'll do me. Okay. Okay, and now you want a bit of plastic, sort of the moderately thick, not too flimsy, not too stretchy, and obviously clean and dry and not horrible. And you want something to stir your epoxy, and you also want a spreader. I usually use my RWA membership card. That will do. So the reason you need a spread, often with like marine epoxies, you would use a brush, and it's thin and easy to work with doing that. But these sort of Araldite type epoxies are quite thick and gooey, and they're not easy to wet out the cloth that you're putting on. So what we can do instead is pre-preg the cloth by spreading it on with the Barway non-slip card. Let's try and stop this from. So I'm going for the clean side. I don't want the printed side in case there's some strange reaction. So you just do it there. That was fine. Put your bit of patch of carbon, get the whole membership card, and wet out your bit of your patch of carbon. Generally, just make sure it's properly wetted, something like that. That looks wetted out to me. Okay. What we're going to do is, you can just peel it off. But what I might try instead is just cutting out our little patch. Let's try that instead. So now we've got our patch on a bit of plastic, and we can just put that straight on there. It'd be easier if it was a bit more see-through. That placing down at the right place. Yep, looks pretty good. And then you can just squeeze out the bubbles. Yeah, bubbles. I'll just tease them out. And then you'll get a nice finish with the epoxy as well. Yeah. So, keep that well pressed down. Right, the air bubbles out. Then I have a cup of tea or coffee. Okay, had time for a coffee and a shave, in fact. Okay, so yeah, 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and that those Araldite type quick epoxies are pretty much hard. A little bit green still, as they say, so it's still a bit soft, but just about hard enough to uncover. And it's sometimes quite good to do when it's still a bit green, because you can then kind of trim it with a knife if you need to. Okay, so carefully peel, because just in case it's not quite hard enough. But there we go. Very nice. That's lovely, isn't it? Look at that. Shiny bit of carbon. Yeah, so I'm just gonna very carefully just cut those little threads of carbon. There we go. That's pretty good. So I'm just feathering it in with the knife whilst it's green. Saves sanding and getting dusty. Pretty good. Yeah. Worried about how it looks, you could just get some epoxy filler, go around the edge, sand it and paint it. So there we go. Repairs easier than you think, and you don't need the expensive big marine epoxy pack. You can just do it with a tube of Araldite, provided you've got some cloth which you can get on eBay or Amazon or something like that. I hope that's useful, and happy repairing.